Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Let's talk about Oasis. Now, Oasis, I have a nephew. You've seen him in the other videos, Carlo. He showed you his favorite Peppa Pig album the other day. He's always like, Oasis is great, Oasis is great. And I just never got into Oasis. And I know Rob up in Canada there, big, Oasis fan as far as, and it's a coming of age album for him, I guess, in a way. So, I just never, I liked some of their hits or whatever. I just never got into their ego and, you know, I don't know. There's something about them that rubbed me the wrong way. But usually I can see past that. But I just never, I liked some of their songs that I heard, but I never did a deep dive into them. So I decided to go ahead and do their first three albums and check that out and see what I thought about their first three albums. And I know it's like Oasis is a hot topic right now because they are going on a tour again. They reformed. I guess the brothers are getting along. We'll see how long that goes. Hey, if the Robinson brothers can do it from the Black Crowes, maybe the Gallagher brothers can do it here from Oasis. So we'll see how it goes. But I did a little of the history on them. They were formed in Manchester, England in '91. The group initially consisted of Liam Gallagher on lead vocals, Paul Arthurs on guitar, Paul McGuigan, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, on bass, and Tony McCarroll on drums. Then Liam asked his older brother Noel Gallagher to join as a fifth member on lead guitar and vocals a few months later. And then Noel became which is probably a good idea, right? Because it looks like Noel became the leader of the group and took over the songwriting duties for the band's first four albums. So that's interesting. So I listened to the first three albums. Definitely maybe was their their debut album. It came out in 1994. But I gave it a listen, and my thoughts on that were I wasn't a big fan of Liam's whiny style voice on there. It was really, really whiny, really, I don't know, it was irritating to me on most of that album. I don't know, I just don't like that sound. I don't know, it's kind of grated on me after a while. But there was a lot of distortion to fill the songs. It was just a really loud album to me. I would like to hear like a cleaner production style where the guitar riffs could be better heard on the album. The lyrics to me were, mostly, I hate to use the word nonsense. Maybe it meant something to them because unless I'm missing like some kind of deep poetic meaning somewhere, and they used maybe terms I'm not familiar with, I don't know, but none of the lyrics caught me and go, oh, that's really good. They're like pop rock, right? I guess they would be called, because they're not heavy. I mean, they're heavy because there's a lot of distortion, but it's a very poppy sounding band, melodically and all that to me. And not many solos, but they did have a cool solo, or, finally there was a solo on the song Slide Away. And I like the stripped down sound and lyrics in the song Married with Children. While I was listening to it, that U2 kind of was in my head while I'm listening to them, and I don't know why. I guess there could be some similarities, though I thought about it. But what was interesting is after this album ended, and what YouTube Music will do is go ahead and start playing other music based off of what you just listened to. You might like this kind of thing. And the first song that came on after the album ended was a U2 song. The songs I liked on the album were Live Forever, Up in the Sky, and Slide Away. And the two that, got carrots in the back, they're taking a ride. The two that stuck out to me mostly that I liked out of all of the songs were Supersonic and Married with Children. And I'll give you my overall rating when I'm done. I'm just going to talk about the albums right now. Then we move on to What's the Story, Morning Glory. This was more my style when I listened to this. It had a nice start with a wah pedal, so they're starting to bring in different, I noticed some maturity, some growth, music style, and trying different sounds out. So right off, you got a wah pedal going with the very first song. And Liam's voice, to me, was more tolerable this time. So I don't know if he just changed the way he sang, he matured a little bit, what happened. But his vocals on this album didn't bother me. I was cool with them on this one. So it's interesting, the contrast between the first and the second album. But I could hear the growth from the first album. Better production, better arrangements, melodies. And honestly, listening to it, because Noel sings one or two songs on this album, and I like his voice over Liam's, in my opinion, but Liam's the lead singer. To end on the song Champagne Supernova was perfect. That's the last song on the album. Just a really good album. The ones that really stuck out to me, and probably they're the major hits, but were Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, She's Electric, and Champagne Supernova. Supernova. Those are the songs that are really good. And then their third album, did I say when that came out? So What's the Story, Morning Glory came out in 95. That's the album I was just talking about. And then their third album, Be Here Now, came out in 1997. I gave that one a listen, and it was kind of a disappointment to me. When you have such a good album as What's the Story, Morning Glory, they were just on a roll with that album, not one bad song on it. And then you move over to this, and to me, it was a little disappointing. There wasn't much variety in the music. When you hear an Oasis song, you pretty much know what to expect. So I guess there isn't a lot of, what I'm saying there is not a lot of variety in it for me. It's just Oasis, just being themselves, but nothing spectacular happening. But that said, it was good music. They're definitely good musicians and all that, but the songs didn't speak to me, I guess you could say, as much as What's the Story, Morning Glory. And then they're back to, on the third album, it's like they forgot about, or didn't learn, like, from their growth on the second album, where the first album was very noisy to me, a lot of distortion to fill in the spots, and the second album just opened up and you could hear a lot of things happening. It's like they went back on the third album to that noisy production. But I thought there was good musicianship, nice guitar parts. There's always good licks and leads, and then in Oasis albums, there's always little sound effects happening in between songs. Sometimes the songs run on a little long, but I kind of see what they're doing. They kind of, a lot of instrumental at the end of their songs, but they kind of go into a noise. And they definitely have a theme, a constant theme through their albums as far as sound effects and things like that. If you're an Oasis fan, I think you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of throwaway lyrics. Again, with the lyrics, I think their lyrics were better on their second album. They don't have direct lyrics. I don't know how you describe how Oasis's lyrics are. They kind of tell a story. They don't. It seems like they use a lot of terms that I'm not familiar with. So it seems like I've written songs, and I'm not saying I'm the best songwriter in the world, but I get the idea of how a song should work. I've written songs that people go, oh, I like that song. So at least I have an idea of how a song gets put together. And I can understand when a song's not completely working the way it should, and you're forcing it and it just doesn't feel right, and the song itself doesn't play out right either. The way it could be chunky, I guess is a way to say. It doesn't flow well, and the lyrics aren't great. But usually when you start writing a song, I kind of write and do the lyrics at the same time. That's my style. And then I'll go back and I'll just look at my lyrics and I'll tweak them up as much as I can within my ability to make it, tell a story, make sense, try to keep out cliches like cuts like a knife and all that stuff. So I will try to go back and fix those lyrics. Sometimes I'm really happy with the beginning, and that's just the lazy part of me, and I know I should go back and fix those lyrics, but that happens. But it seems like with Oasis, whatever lyrics they wrote when they're first writing the song, it's like they kept it. It felt like there was a room for improvement in those lyrics. And that's just my point of view, how I kind of heard the songs. That's all. I just wonder if their lyrics could be a little stronger. Anyway, it doesn't ruin the whole thing. I like songs like Pour Some Sugar on Me, so it doesn't always have to be great, but it's just something I noticed about their music, and I think it's something I would like to see them do to improve. And maybe they do later. I don't know. I only know these first three albums, so I don't know where they go from here. So I can see why people like them, but not all their stuff is exactly for me. I listen to it, I recognize it's good music, but you guys know when you put an album on, either you like it or you don't, or you just go, eh. And, that's kind of how I was with this. And doing isn't an insult, it's just saying it's just not hitting me, right? I think that's one thing I've learned is I don't say things are bad anymore, because that's just the easy way out of explaining a song or talking about a song. I think it's just saying it doesn't work for me. It's not for me. It doesn't work. Maybe it'll work 10 years from now, because I've had that happen before. I've had albums grow on me, like Pink Floyd's Division Bell. Well, I didn't like it for years, and I finally listened to it after 20 years or whatever it was, maybe longer. And all of a sudden I'm like, I like this album. What the heck was going on? So it's weird like that. Good solid band. I get why people like them. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you my rating. The first album and the third album got the same exact score for me, and it's a C+ for where I am. So it's not, again, so you can see there's parts of the album I like. It's not a total bomb or anything like that. I don't think there was any real low scores. I think there's just a lot of songs by them that I'm just like, I didn't have didn't not like it, but didn't have it enough where, I want to put it on that playlist. So they were like just, right in the middle there for me. So they had a lot of songs like that. So that's why I wonder if this stuff will grow on me later. So they both got a C plus. But when we talk about What's the Story, Morning Glory, I rate it as the perfect album. I mean, not a bad song on there. And I have this little system. I have a 3-point system that I do. Hate it, and yeah, playlist worthy. And then I'll put if it's a 3, like playlist worthy, and I really like it, I put a little smiley face next to it. So there's 4 songs on here that got the smiley face, and I just told you it was Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, She's Electric, and Champagne Supernova. Just enjoyed the crap out of that album. I can see why people like this album. In fact, I already contacted the record store and said, hey, it's on back order right now too. So I'm looking for a copy of that. That's the one Oasis album that I wouldn't mind having. And as soon as I get my hands on it, I definitely will. So that's where I stand on Oasis. I know there's a lot of Oasis fans out there. I hope I was fair about it. I try not to criticize a band, because who am I to criticize? I'm definitely not a critic, but the whole point of this video is to tell you what I thought about it. And that's it. But I'm glad there was, out of the 3, 1 really stood out. And we'll see what happens with the other 2 later. I just wanted to share that with you. So leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button. And until next time, I hope you guys enjoy your music. And you take care out there, all right? Bye.